Marek joins us. I want to quickly say good evening to him. He's the IGP of the Meghalaya Police. Sir, thank you so much for your time. I want to ask you straight up, as we will keep a lot of these facts also on our screens with images of the lady in question, Sonam, the husband who's dead, and an alleged affair, and a lot of things gone wrong. When you first came to know of this entire incident, a lot of people say it sounds very filmy, sounds very unreal. What were the theories, sir, that you began your work on when you discovered everything on the story?
We had 2-3 they could have fallen out and had an accidental fall, and because it was during a very heavy rainfall on those days. Then secondly, we thought the other probability could be they might have been abducted or murdered, that possibility. Or third, we were suspecting right from the third, fourth day when we were searching that probability, it could be that love triangle or dispute over property. Every possibility was there. So we were looking from various angles on this case.
Okay, so you were actually working on these theories, but the story has, moved from those theories to a confession today, sir. And I want to ask you this, because NDTV was first to break this, that Sonam has put forward a confession. She has admitted. Tell me more about this, and how many people involved in this crime?
Practically, Sonam and those 3 men were there on the spot. And Raj Kushwaha was back there and where he was. But then all this conspiracy, as far as we know, as of now, it is these 5 people.
Okay, I think what you say is again significant, but people would also want to know, and I want to see if we can bring up images also of Sonam. Sonam at the time of her marriage to Sonam now, we've seen her largely covered, her face covered in that black cloth. She hasn't spoken much. Now, there is also a lot of speculation about whether Sonam was acting alone, she was under some kind of a pressure. What would you say? I mean, is there any kind of remorse, repentance? I mean, I'm looking at that picture right now, sir, also on our screens of Sonam earlier today.
That we will have to establish, and we'll be able to establish only after we question them thoroughly in these coming days.
But Sonam, has she largely been cooperative? She spent a few hours with your police, your entire team. Is there any bit of remorse, repentance? What have you been able to figure out? What really have been the expressions that she has shared with the team after a crime that has shocked the entire country?
She is under shock. However, she is cooperating. And so far she is okay. She gives cooperation, yes.
Okay, and we must tell our viewers that a lot of these questions, remember, that the cops have been asking to Sonam and will ask over the course of the next many days, as they've been able to secure a remand, are already on your screens. Because clearly there is more to this story than what meets the eye. But like I said, what has been confirmed that yes, there is a confession. There are hired killers. Big money has changed hands. But sir, let me also ask you more about the regret. Has there been any kind of regret? Does Sonam realize the enormity of what she has done and how she has shocked the entire country also? The families are also in a state of shock.
Yeah, definitely. I think some remorse is there in her mind because she is not that expressive anymore at the moment. And she has just come in, so we won't be able to assess her actual state of mind or emotions. In a couple of days, I think we will be able to know how she really behaves or feels in this situation.
Okay, I think the last bit of what you said is important, so I'll just repeat it with your permission now. He says that there is some remorse in her mind. Now, clearly, we do not know whether this is real remorse or not, considering that she very well realized the enormity of what she is doing, sir. She marries a man where she wanted him dead later, but why would anyone want to do this? And that is why the question of motive is, I think, important. That will come forward in the course of this investigation. But the next thing that I want to know is, there has been a confession. But what were those moments like where she finally cracked under pressure? I do know that your team has been working day in and day out. You've cracked the case in flat 7 days. But what were those moments of confession like? Did she really break down? Did she cry?
She has just been picked up, so we are also getting only the second-hand report that she has admitted. So I won't be able to give you the exact description of how it was.
All right, so I realize you might not be wanting to talk about the entire sequence of events, but considering that a lot of these people that you wanted are right now in your custody, so this possibly could be a watertight case, but we'll have to see how the investigations go on, sir. How long was this planning going on? You know, when is it that Sonam decided that she is going to kill her husband? When did she do that?
That we are yet to establish. Only further interrogation will we'll have to find the motive and also the planning they have done, exact how they have done it. After a couple of days, probably we will be able to.
Okay, so you say that you're still waiting for more details to come out when it comes to the exact sequence of event, because clearly this is a matter of days. You know, you marry, you travel for an honeymoon, you suddenly vanish only to find out that the husband is dead. The wife is the mastermind along with an alleged lover. So clearly there is more to the story than what meets the eye, sir. Now tell me something, what about the motive? Is there absolutely any more idea about the motive? Was she being blackmailed? Was she under any kind of pressure, as you know, a lot of these theories are doing the round?
No, we don't know about that, if she was under any pressure. But from what we can see, the way they had been conducting themselves, I don't think there is any pressure on her particularly. At the moment, we feel that there is no pressure on her. And then he and Raz must have planned it together and executed it with the help of those other three assailants.
Okay, important that you say that it is both Sonam and the alleged boyfriend who actually plotted this murder, and you essentially want us to believe that they were the mastermind. Now, what about the role of the family here, sir? Because the family has come forward. Initially, they were in disbelief. They've said that somewhere there is something in the story that does not connect. She's being targeted. She's a victim. Are we to believe that the family was not in the know?
We cannot say about that. Perhaps they might have got some inkling about how she was conducting herself in her own place. Family should be knowing something, but we do not have information on that.
Okay, but you do say that, you know, that perhaps the family would have been aware. I think this is important because a lot of that was going on. And someone working very closely with your family, you can see a lot of these relationships, as a lot of people have discussed. So is it that the family decided to ignore it or whatever? But what about these hired killers, sir? When do these killers come into the picture? The police has interrogated them for some time. How much money was possibly given to them is a question I will ask you in just a moment. But tell me something, how were they hired? Who hired them?
We don't have that detailed information on that. What we know is that they had come, three men came almost at the same time. When Sonam and the husband had come to Shillong, they went to Cherrapunji on the same time. And the same mode of transport, they had hired scooties. And then they had stayed almost in the same nearby guest houses. And like very conveniently on the next day, like 2 days, they have met these three people who have met the couple, and they went along and they have done what they have done. That much is what we want to know. And they had used those two bikes, which they hired to escape after the crime was committed.
So I think that bit again is significant. You've said that you're still waiting for details when it comes to the hitmen. How were they really contacted? Was there, you know, a common conduit here? Three men, you say, they come at the same time, they use the same mode of transport, they almost stayed nearby. Now, this was important for viewers to know. So, there was no pretense, there was not even an attempt to distance yourself from these killers. That is how brazen this crime is. On your screens are also images right now, sir, that we are playing out of these three killers who were nabbed. In fact, these are hitmen. So, we must call them hitmen, the hired hitmen, who were picked up by the Indore police there. They were handed over to the Shillong police. All of them belong to Madhya Pradesh. How is it that Sonam really came in touch with them? What is the kind of money, sir, we are discussing? Because, you know, there are multiple figures being thrown around. And I'm really curious. How much money did Sonam offer the hitman to ensure that her husband is dead?
We don't have the exact information on that, but we have been told that they were paid with some.
Okay, you're saying actually that big money was paid. So that is getting confirmed that yes, it was Sonam who ordered the kill, and Sonam offered big money to ensure that her husband is dead. Now, why would someone do that is the next follow-up question, sir. And I know that you have limited time, and I still want to thank you for speaking to us on NDTV. Before I let you go, I want to understand that in your many, many years of policing, as you've seen a lot of these criminals, people today are shocked by the enormity, by the impact, and by the precision which everything was actually planned. Now, they say that no crime is perfect because there are always some clues that you leave here and there. When you look at this, how Sonam operated along with the alleged lover, what is your sense of this entire episode, this entire murder, sir?
What I would like to say that we have seen how criminals act. They always feel that how they plan and what they do, how they execute, it is perfect. But we can say that they always leave some clue somewhere, which helps police to investigate and find the culprits ultimately. So no crime can be committed perfectly most of the time. But there are times when some of the crimes cannot be detected.
All right, I think these are very, very important and sensational details, sir, that you have shared with us, for breaking your silence, for unraveling that plot bit by bit, and for also ensuring that, you know, we have some bit of movement in the entire case, because otherwise it looked bizarre, really out of a movie, as a lot of people have said. I'm going to be thanking you for your time, and we'll reconnect as soon as there is more update on the story.